Welcome back to the things we know. Welcome back to season 4.
Yeah, I got a new mic. Who dis?
You sound good. You sound good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, not we're gonna have two episodes where I still sound bad because we've already pre-recorded a couple of things. But yeah, my mic of 3 years said I need to retire, so I've got a new mic, and I was a little jealous because you got a new mic a while ago and it sounded so good.
well, now we get to both sound good. Well,
Yeah,
for so long I sounded like I was inside a can. So, which is weird because we had the exact same mic.
I know, so
So
weird.
I'm blaming it on the Mac. Anyway, okay. So we're walking into this year in a moment that once again feels, I want to say that strongly because all throughout history, you can look at parts where people may have felt this way, but right now it feels unlike anything we've lived through before. And we have said this for 5 years, and it's always a different version of it because the news is heavy, the world feels divided, people we love are carrying so much. There's also some good news, both personally and globally and locally and all that. But really, there's a lot going on at the same time. So I'm so glad we're doing this pod in these times because we've been recording some of the most powerful conversations we've ever had on the show. Even just recently, some of the upcoming ones we already have in the hopper ready to
In
go,
the
and
can.
I'm really glad.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yes, raise a glass to season four. But this is the time of year. I mean, this is dropping, I think, on the second or the third or something, or the 6th of January. So back in my pre LA days, these would be the days where I was welcoming new members into Weight Watchers, and there was this whole idea of new year, new you. And I have discarded that idea ever since I moved to LA because I am no longer in the diet industry. But I love this idea of this question as we kick off season four. How do we walk into another year in times like these without abandoning ourselves? Like, how
Right?
do I don't really think of this time anymore as about fixing ourselves or reinventing ourselves or optimizing ourselves. Like I haven't done that in almost 9 years, 9 New Years, right? So that's certainly not this episode.
No, and I think we've traditionally said that. We're just saying that in a bigger way, right? Because I
Right.
mean that be better bullshit. It's
Be
just
best.
be best. We haven't really recorded any episode like that, and we're consistently rejecting it.
Right. And again, we're also not that's all we're going to say about that, right? Like we're not
Yeah,
belaboring the point that we hate resolutions. Done.
right. In this
Clear.
world, yes, because the moment we're in right now, with everything happening, the last thing any of us needs is another assignment, another metric to meet. More than ever, right? So this is completely reworking how we even see that, like rewiring. So today we're kicking off season 4 with a different question. What if this year isn't become about becoming better?
Right. What if it's about becoming braver? And I think so this is just Carrie and I, but I have to tell you, the next 3 episodes, we probably have on three of the bravest women, uh, two of which I know personally, one of which you know. And I'm so excited that we've set January up like this. We are kicking off season four very strong.
I know, I'm so excited. So let's talk about what bravery means in times like these. So when I think about bravery in this season of life and in these times, so both, right? This time in my life, in my age, and your age, and in these times, it's anything but loud or polished or perfect, right? Bravery to me, to us, and I think I speak for both of us, and we've said this in various episodes over the years, showing up imperfect, trying instead of over preparing,
Mm.
emotional courage, relational courage, telling the truth with compassion, setting boundaries for myself, right? Because, just that little reminder plug about boundaries, those aren't for other people, they're for you. Letting myself be witnessed by women I trust, letting joy and rest matter, letting myself be human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All easier said than done, too, right? Like
Sure.
these are all like simple things, but not easy things. And yeah,
I
and
know
for
they
me,
do sound light, but they are hard.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. And again, this isn't about an assignment, but it's about thinking through these things. How do you want to walk into 2026 for yourself? For me, I guess it's again thinking about not back in the Weight Watcher days, it was always like I want to be this new person, and when I'm this new person, this new weight, I will be fill in the blank, right? So there was always this time we were reaching for, any of us who were trying to lose weight in the new year after the holidays. And I think for me, bravery is about just allowing myself to be in the season I'm in, not the one I want to be in, which for me is like, I mean, weirdly, I've said more than once, God, I'd almost go back to 2020. You sent me a funny meme about keep all you tell your 20-year-old self to keep her anger energy around Bush because we had no idea what was coming down the
That is
pike.
so funny. I loved that.
So good. So same thing, right? Like I could go, God, I thought 2020 was bad, but holy shit, and it doesn't matter, right? That
Mm,
time's gone. The future's not
yeah,
secure. So it's be present, be present. That's its own kind of courage to be willing to be present.
that's so true. I want to also name something about you, and it came up recently in a end of year podcast, but it's like I think people who watch you but maybe don't know you would assume you're tough as nails because you are. You really are. But I think it's your softness, the way you feel things from like your core right out to the, like outside of your skin, the way you let people witness your tenderness. I think that's so brave. I think it shows people how to be human in a world that just keeps telling us to armor up. And I just want to name that because like the way you continue to be brave in that way, I think helps so many people.
I appreciate that a lot. And two things come to mind. One, I think, gosh, I kind of don't know how to be any different. So that might be something to think about as you're listening to this episode. Where are you brave that you just think, well, duh, that's how I am, right?
Yeah.
But for others, it might be life changing to witness, or others look at you as being brave. The other piece of it is there's still so many times. I was saying this to a client the other day. Like, I've had a few people send me the study around or the meme around good leaders show emotion. Crying is not a bad thing for a leader because it shows that they know how to let emotion flow through them. I've really appreciated that information, but in the moment, and I cry at every retreat. Usually on the first night, it still feels like, oh, I wish I didn't cry all the time. So I think for me, some of the bravery is going to be allowing that not to feel bad for me.
Mm,
Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Just brave, like braver in your progress with vulnerability, like in your
Yeah,
growth
yeah,
with vulnerability.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not feeling bad about my vulnerability. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm. So again, you just sort of mentioned this, right? Like our listeners say a lot of what we talk about when we are using our own personal experiences, it helps them feel less alone. Fantastic. That's kind of the whole point of this podcast. It's the things we know, and we hope to normalize a lot for our listeners. For me, again, I mentioned this in the 150th episode. I've been walking through with my family some tough things and not at the point where I'm ready to share them publicly. Um, but with these experiences, I've had to really lean into the softness because a lot of it can be very frustrating and lend itself to being hard and wanting to be hard and harder. So I have to really lean into my softness. I have to trust my gut in even stronger than I probably ever have before. And I've had to go back to beginner mind, which again is easier said than done.
Mm.
And so I think those are some things that I'm pretty proud of and feel pretty brave around.
Yeah. I feel very choked up hearing you say that because I feel proud of you too.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think for me, like some of the areas where I'm just brave because I gotta be and I don't know how else to be is in caregiving. Although, you know, we've sort of laughed and eye rolled and with some like great respect for people like my grandmother, for the people who's like, God doesn't give you what you can't handle. It's like, come on.
I know,
I always think
totally.
about like people I know in New Orleans who live in some of the more neglected neighborhoods. They're like, yeah, we're tough. Like we gotta be. We're kind of sick of it. We don't want to be. Have to be like
Totally.
we keep getting these floods and this anyway.
Yep.
Um there are aspects of my life I don't know how to show up any differently, and it's less harder. It's less harder. It's less hard than it used to be because I'm used to it. But it's not that it's not hard stuff. So it's not. I think for me, like bravery isn't just the continue to see this as a marathon and fight, for Griffin and with Griffin and keep dreaming beyond what like little parameters were given for any prognosis, which is really vague anyway,
Hmm.
around the different things he deals with. But for myself as a caregiver, I
Yeah.
think it takes courage to name what I need. We talked about this a lot last season. Just I just gonna just have to say right here, this would be a really fun episode for the future. We do this a lot, right? And we have these little meetings in real time. But I was talking to my mom, who's like the silent generation,
Yep.
and realizing what silent generation and Gen X have in common is that impaired birthright to need.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we
like
did
that we
talk
were
about wanting to come back to
both
that.
both raised to like your self-worth is in how you show up for other people and how you care for other people, and you feel good when you can help others.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like back to like the name what I need and not sprint past my own feelings. I think
Mm,
like the somatic work I've done has really helped me like 30-foot view that to see how I can get there. I can name it. I'm smart enough to do that. I'm in touch enough to do it, but I very quickly move on to how others are feeling.
yeah.
Very quickly.
Because it's easy.
It's easier and
Or, yeah.
it's also feels like a fire I don't have to put out, but that does. And so like really,
Mm,
you know, really staying here first. Anyway, so that's just work that I
yeah.
need to do. Also in friendships, having honest conversations, being direct with love, because it just makes things better and easier and stronger. Parenting adult kids, recalibrating how we communicate, having talks about money, not taking every I'm busy personally. That's on me. Being braver and letting go of, how and when we talk.
Yeah.
Getting braver
Mhm.
with grief, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we said this a lot at the end of last season, but there's a lot going on in the world right now that requires bravery, but there's also a lot. It cannot just be you and I that have a lot inside our four walls that requires bravery. So, again, I think my invitation as to our listeners is like own what you're already brave about, because then you can see that you can be brave about other things that right now might feel a little harder, right?
How you do one thing is how you do
I
everything. Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. But you have to recognize that you're already doing those things, right? You and I have done this a
Right.
million times as coaches. When somebody shows me a limiting belief and we go, but remember you did that in this
Oh, you
scenario. It's
do it to
just
me all the time. It's very helpful.
we try not to coach each
It's the
other, but
unsolicited coaching I appreciate the most,
I love
actually.
it. I love it. And me too, really, because it's so easy. Again, as women, I've said it a million times to do thank you next, or to think, well, everybody's going through this, so I'm just doing it, or this is, I don't know how to be any different. Well, all of those things are true, but there some celebration of that, some recognition, some embodying of that, then makes it easier for you to remind yourself, your critter brain, that you can continue to do hard things. Shout out to Glennon.
Yeah, I would say, okay, let's talk a little bit about like I think we've talked about this in various ways, but like stepping into anything braver, which is a lot like our retreats. And the first night of all our retreats is a little bit of what do you got to let go of? What do you have to release? What do you need to put down so you can step into whatever this is? And I can't imagine it matters more than where you need to be braver. Like, okay, Best way to be brave
Totally.
is make sure your hands aren't full first.
Step one.
Right. So we'll talk about releasing because it's where the be better nonsense shows up the most, right?
Yeah.
So there are things that collectively I think we can agree we can let go of in this season. And if you're like new to us, trust us, bro. Just
Welcome.
kidding. Trust me, bro. Just kidding.
Do what we say, not what we do.
Go back and listen, and then you'll agree. Okay. There are things we collectively can let go of, like unrealistic resolutions,
Yep.
toxic positivity, comparison, hustle culture, shame around starting over, fear of disappointing others.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. What a good list. Wow. Yeah, and numbing, right? I mean, I have done my fair share of numbing. And not all numbing's bad, right? Sometimes you need to take that break. Binge watching All Her Fault, like I did around Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Listening to music, eating comfort food. Um, Sometimes that is survival. Numbing is it can be valuable, but what we're releasing is sort of the spiraling kind, right? The one
Yeah.
the
This kind.
right. Or for me, like I hate to sort of admit it, but I've cut back a little on drinking, right? Like I mean,
Yeah.
there was times, and not because I mean I don't have a problem, but I've just like I realized I thought, you know what? I want to sleep better, right? So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
pull back from drinking until I go to sleep type things. And again, we're naming this with humor because we all do it. We do the doom scrolling. We do have the extra cocktail. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to do those things occasionally, but I don't want to self-medicate with those things anymore. So I'm releasing
Yeah, that's a
that,
good.
right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone's alone if they're meeting the anxiety of the world with getting
A
high or
cocktail.
a
Yeah,
cocktail or something.
totally.
In fact, I just saw an interview I think Jordan Klepper did with all the people in inflatables here in Portland.
Yes, I haven't watched that
It
yet.
wasn't from like, I think it was from like maybe a month or two ago, but anyway,
Yeah,
it was, and I think it was the naked bike ride. And a
yeah.
lot of people he interviewed were like high as hell.
I mean, I would have to be pretty fucking high to ride a bike naked. I'm not gonna lie. That is so impressive that there are that many people in Portland that are willing to do that in
I
broad daylight,
know.
even.
I know, my goodness.
Oh,
Well, same,
Portland.
same about like numbing. And I definitely think there's like therapists I admire greatly that are like, you need some neutral time. Like, like don't beat yourself
Mm,
up for going in between things with something really neutral and numbing. But like you said, it's just like, where is the numbing helping you recalibrate and where is it spiraling you? So it's a great
totally.
point.
Where is it serving you or not? Like
Right.
I like a glass of wine or a cocktail or a beer in the summer. I'm not ashamed of that. I like it. I'm not gonna stop that. I would never like it's sort of like you mind your business, I'll mind mine.
Right.
But that being said, I also like to recalibrate every once in a while. What is not serving me anymore, right?
Right.
And that's where I got, end of summer. I was just sort of like, I don't know that this is doing
Yeah.
what I think it's doing for me anymore, and so that's
Yeah.
what made me decide to release it.
I have a lot of friends who say, and I guess when I reflect, I'm not that different. Like they actually drink more in the summer. It's interesting.
Well, in
Um,
LA though, it's summer all year fucking round.
you're
That's
right.
the
That's true.
problem. It's a
It's
it's a
always
blessing.
summer.
It's a blessing, but I mean, I remember
Oh,
Darren telling me this when we first moved out here, a guy at his job said, "Hey, just want to warn you, coming from Chicago, when those warm days you probably sat out on your balcony having a couple of drinks, it's like that all year round. So just be careful. You can drink a lot here in LA."
yeah. My
Ah.
goodness. Huh. I can't even imagine. Actually, like as we're recording this, Miles said this morning it was 9 degrees when he was walking to class.
Goddess bless to him.
Anyway.
Mm.
Okay. So in this season for me, what I think I, like what I'm releasing, I'd love to declare this to you and anyone
Nice.
listening.
Yep.
The things I'm really kind of like, okay, the self-judgment when my productivity dips, you're super used to hearing me be like, oh, I didn't get anything done today, but I did get
Yep.
this, and this done. It's like,
Right.
okay, there's a giant list and there's like like, why am I constantly in struggle with being impressed with myself? Like, that's just silly. And like that's important, right? Like that's just, and then the other is like striving for excellence in tasks that just need to get done.
Yeah.
Um, there's some
Good,
things that are
good,
really
good enough.
important where you're like mastering excellence is going to serve you and bring you joy, and other times where it's like, really, I mean, just get that shit done. The instinct to manage other people's expectations. I'm so much better at that than I used to be, but it'll still creep in. I notice, right? And then I say this every year, I'm bored with it. If you're listening, you're bored with it. But like, it's not a vanity metric for me, but getting physically stronger is such a health necessity and continues to be even more so because of the osteoporosis.
Mm,
Building muscle and bone density isn't a be better goal. I think it's brave choice for my long-term well-being because I do struggle because of my lack of sleep. I struggle with like really making that time, sacred. And so, and I am a big believer that like strong bones, strong mind, strong heart, all that stuff. So those are the things like, you know, like releasing that it needs to be anything other than just caring for myself.
love it. Yeah. I think for me, when I think about releasing again, I hate to keep vague booking this, but again, we may talk more in detail later in the year about what is happening in my life right now. But in that, while I don't normally think of myself as somebody who's very self-judgmental, I can judge a circumstance and I can judge other people like there's no tomorrow, but I don't normally turn it inward very much to myself. But I find myself doing a lot of you should be doing better, you should be doing better. And while to some extent there are things I could be doing better, and I know that self-judging is not actually helping the situation anymore. So, or any is not forwarding my situation. So I think I'd like to really, and luckily with you and I having done the positive intelligence training last year, I mean, that has been really, really helpful in recognizing that it's not just my critter brain. Um, it's a very specific part of my critter brain that is turning inward on myself and like I said, is not doesn't serve. So I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing I think that
Yeah.
I'm releasing. I like you. I think there's some um I'd like to focus a little bit more on my health, the stress of 2025, both externally and internally. Did the same thing it did to me 2016 to 2020, and I just and there's some of that is in my control. And so I'm releasing the idea that it's out of my control, I guess. Your face.
Okay. I have to just be real here. Not only like did what you say make me realize that we've had in 1 year what 4 years did to you. I
A
mean, I knew
million
that, but
percent.
like that's
I
like
actually I hadn't thought of that till I
what an
said you said it.
accelerated. But like
Yeah.
what when you said that and when I felt it, my dog just released a really stinky fart. So like it was just like a 4D experience. Like that's exactly right. Great timing, Mabel. Woo.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, it was like you were in D-Box at the movie theater.
All right.
Oh my God, so funny. All right. So again, what are we embracing instead of better? So I'm embracing beginner's mind, right? I'm embracing that there is still a lot I have control over. But I say that in a good way, right? Like it's not about being controlling, but it's recognizing again, to my point, what happened to me over in terms of my health in the course of 4 years, exasperated for sure by COVID, but has happened to me in 1 year's time, exasperated by my personal situation. I don't want that to continue. So I have control over a few things that I can make a difference of. Um, and more presence. Again, I mean, I feel like I'm good at presence, but I feel like this is calling me. This time is, and this year, and quite frankly, it's a want to be even more present. Um, From a numerology standpoint, this is a 1 year. It is the year of the horse, which is once the Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year happens. So I want there was a time around November in one of our other meetings, and I don't think you were in this one, where I was like, I just cannot wait to get rid of 2025, which is funny because it was a 9 year, which is the end, which is about letting go. And I don't know, in the conversation I was having with some of our other friends, it was pointed out to me that I said that by JD, which was hilarious. But it just really, that has struck me so much since that conversation of like, I am bound and determined to make 2026 better than 2025.
Totally.
Period. I don't want to bring the crap, and admittedly, we are still recording this in 2025. I don't want to bring the crap of this year into next year. I am bound and determined to embrace that 2026 will be better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big believer in what you pay attention to grows. And
Yep.
so when I say that, I'm a little horrified at what I've been paying attention to. Um,
Totally.
so, like, I don't know. I mean, I do think you're in constant contact with me. So I think I'm pretty good at like saying yay to this, or this is really cool thing, or I'm super excited
Totally.
about this. Like there's a lot of wonderful things in my life that I love to celebrate and pay attention to. However, I fixate sounds so negative. It sounds so critical, but I am very hyper focused on the things that like are breaking my heart and the things I want to change. So how I pay attention to them needs to change so that like I'm focused on hope and like a vision for what we want to replace this with. So I really
Mm,
appreciate you saying that because that's exactly it's like, okay, how do we do that differently? And also, I mean, I am really determined to have some structured fun so that like I know that it doesn't get like that it doesn't get skipped.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Like
love that.
certain things every week that I do that are just for fun. And then also like just the full presence and saying yes to being outside no matter what. With things
Mm,
that have happened recently, especially with Griffin and with less care natural, bodies around with my other two gone. I get stuck inside for days sometimes. And so getting outside in the backyard where Brendan has this bird feeder that attracts all these different birds, or like, going for walks around the block so I'm close enough to get home. And then any chance I have to like, be out in nature for a hike or whatever, I'm trying to like be really open to yes for that just because it
mm.
does so much for me. Yeah, I think just letting myself feel deeply, much in the way like I was saying that you are, not like compartmentalizing for when I can do that, but just like
Mm.
letting it rip more is good for me.
Letting it rip, like Mabel just did.
Mabel might be my
Oh,
little Zen
Mabel.
teacher in this
Right.
package.
Yet again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, right. Because again, in that instance, think again about the idea that it's, I understand why some people have to compartmentalize. I understand why you have to sometimes. That makes total sense. I have to sometimes. However, being able to allow it to flow in the moment, just like it flows faster, it gets out of you faster. You're able to have the feelings and flow into something else.
Mm,
I love those. I will hold you accountable.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, we've been talking about ways to be braver in ourselves and in the ways we're living these times right now, but like how about let's talk about it in a world that's feeling heavy, right?
Mm,
Because it's hard to talk about without really addressing this world we're living in.
yeah.
People are tired, people are overwhelmed, there's division in multiple ways no matter how you cut it and look at it. Women's rights are being debated.
Hmm.
LGBTQ plus communities are not safe.
Nope.
They're dehumanized. Immigrant families are carrying fear because of the dehumanizing policies that are being carried out in ways that we never thought imaginable. I was hearing someone yesterday talk about the Overton window that 5 years ago, masked agents, showing up in unmarked cars and grabbing people off the streets and disappearing people based on their skin tone, like is unheard of 5 years
Yep.
ago. Like, how has this Overton window moved just, in these
Last 6 months?
echo chambers that have made things just so normalized. Yeah, I mean, economic pressure, like that's one, right? Just the economic pressure everywhere. So
Yeah.
we have to talk about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And again, I think, in 2 weeks, we're going to have Christy on from buildtomorrow.chai. And I think that'll be a really good conversation that will help speak to this. Um, it, Part of getting braver this year is choosing to stand up for what matters. Um, Carrie and I have done it for a long time. That doesn't make us better. It just means we've been doing it for a longer time. But what I love about what Chrissy's going to bring to this conversation is how to start now, how to start small. When Christy first opened that page, she had 100 followers, and now she's at over 10,000, and it's organic. She didn't pay for any of it. And it's just because she's showing up in a different way. So if what you've witnessed in 2025 and you feel the overwhelm and so forth, and you're like, what can I do? What little thing do you want to do? What can you do? Is it giving money? I mostly that's what I do. I'm much more of a giver of money. You're bringing people together, but it is important that we are brave in our communities, for the people that we love, the values that we hold. And interestingly, I just saw a reel yesterday. It came from Jess Craven, but it was another woman who was Hispanic, and she was outright saying, we need white influencers to be having these conversations because people of color, Hispanic people in particular, are exhausted. And they already know what's going on. So it's like the white influencers are the ones that need to be out there really talking about this. So, we talked about power with and for and over. And while power with is kind of ideal because we're all in it together. This is an opportunity, especially when we're talking about immigrant rights, where we need to use our white privilege for at this point. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't even have to tell anybody, but staying awake, staying tender, staying engaged, paying attention, just letting people that you're here and that you care. Don't ask them to tell you when they need help. Just do the help. Call them. Say, what can I do for you right now? What can I do for you right today?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Don't put it on them to tell you what to do. Just do it.
I, I feel like another way to say that, or another version of this, is bravery in these times might just mean inviting yourself to sit in the discomfort of
Hmm.
privilege.
Yeah.
Because I do think really good people who care and vote and feel a certain way are like very comfortably numbing away, like by being busy or focusing on the holidays or whatever's happening, because they don't realize how uncomfortable they are with how this system has just really propped them up. And
Mm,
everything happening right now isn't the first time. Like, this is just another wave of the two Americas that, if you're awake, you're really learning about. So I think being brave is like, wake up a little bit, sit in the discomfort, because the more you sit in the discomfort, the harder it's going to be for you to not do or say something that could really make a difference for other people.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, let's talk a little bit about the bravery paradox, something we've seen time and time again, which is the idea of like, oh, I'm not going to do it unless I can do it perfect because I don't want to cause harm, la, 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 right? Perfection can keep us frozen. Being brave by doing the next best step melts that ice. The
Mm.
minute you stop trying to do everything flawlessly, the moment you're willing to fail fast to finally make that move that you've been wanting to make, it like greases the wheels. It starts to make things easier.
I agree. Mm. Um, I I think the moment I stop grading myself, stop pressuring myself, get out of that very familiar old loop of, like the hard on yourself inner voice, the more creative I get and
Hmm.
way more good stuff flows. Like, and then everyone
Totally.
around me is better. And frankly, like if I even catch myself in the mirror in those times, I look better. Like I look more like not as tense or it's
Totally.
fascinating
Yeah.
that like the more I let go of those kind of, you know, like goals and metrics, like the more I feel.
Yeah. And that's why you see it physically on your face and your body because freedom looks that way.
Yeah, it does.
I love that. Um, again, bravery isn't usually super dramatic. I mean, it can be, but I don't think any of us are, you know, SEAL Team 6, right? It's so again, I'm going to say something I've said twice. First, I think look at where you've already been brave in your life, where you're being brave currently, where you've been brave in the past. I mean, I remember I had this one client. Oh, I miss her. I loved her so much, Sarah. And we were having this kind of conversation around bravery. And I was like, but you told me your life story and you did this and you did this and you did this and you did this. Those were all pretty brave. And there was like dead silence. It was like, wow, like I never thought about that. And so again, you can build upon your own bravery. Um, and then it is about the small and steady. Again, we have a theme. It's never about the big steps. It's about the small steps. It's those micro moments again that we overlook. It's sending the text. I'm just thinking about you. You don't need to respond. Or I was thinking about doing this for you today. Would that be helpful? Telling the truth. Oof. That's, I think we're going to touch on that a little bit next week when we have our conversation with Rachel.
I saw, yes, for sure. I saw Elizabeth Gilbert speak about her most recent, most raw book, All the Way to the River. And she talked about how, the person she's mostly writing about in the experience they had together with the end of her life, how that person taught her more than anyone that
Mm,
like the shortest distance in any conflict is just telling the truth. If we're going to end up there eventually, let's just start there. Like you can
totally.
collapse any like stressful time or distance by telling the truth.
So true. Oh my God, that is spot on because you spend a lot of time, again, spinning the web and it just, you get worse and worse and worse. If you just kind of rip the Band-Aid off with the truth, it might not be pretty, but you're going to get through it a lot faster. Asking for help,
Mm.
that's a good way to be brave. I am not good at that. No question. My impaired birth rate to need. Holy shit.
I've gotten better
Out,
at
out
it.
and
I've had
proud.
to. I've had to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have, and I should as well. I should as well. I have some halves I should be doing as well. This one's easy for me. Taking a nap, I'm good on that.
I know. I wrote that and I was like, how is that hard? But I
Although
think
it's funny,
sometimes
I don't nap as much anymore. I can't get my brain to shut off. But
I think it is a micro brave step because like for some people, it's really hard to slow down and like do what you need to do for yourself first. And
totally.
actually like stepping out, taking five
Hmm.
really helps you get to those other things, like telling the truth, sending the text, asking for
Right.
help.
The
Yeah.
siesta. Yeah. I mean, again, but I
Yeah.
think you're right. I mean, people think, oh, I shouldn't take a nap because I got so much to do. For me, I don't often fall asleep, but I will lay down for 15 minutes and just think about something else. And even if I don't fall asleep, getting up, I feel refreshed. So,
Yeah.
siestas are a thing for a reason. But you're right. Like, that's the kind of stuff. Again, I think we're going to talk about this a lot next week. I'm so excited about this interview. Telling a friend how you feel.
Yeah.
Um, and at the very least, when your head is going a million miles an hour, when you feel so overwhelmed, just putting your hand on your heart internally, probably better out externally saying enough.
Yeah. And I think that applies when other people are crossing your boundaries too.
Oh,
Just enough.
yeah,
I
no
do you
question.
follow Jen Hatmaker?
I do not.
Mm. I've sort of like once in a while seen her like it just didn't resonate with me until she had her, you know, big moment of going, it's somewhat of like a Tia Levings and Glennon
Yeah.
Doyle sort of journey.
Yeah.
And, she's now out of that high control Christian marriage. And her response to all the ways the lovely um every time we talk about things like this, she farts. Our our
Mabel is a
president,
woman, so I get it.
our president has been treating specifically female journalists.
Yeah.
And after the one where he called someone piggy, Jen Hatmaker, I think she might even have merch now. It's just this little piggy says enough. This,
Oh,
and
I like that.
or has had enough, something like that. This little piggy
Okay.
has had enough, and it is
Hmm.
going viral. Anyway,
All right, I might have to revisit her because I think I didn't totally know she had deconstructed from that. So when you said that, I was like, she doesn't seem like somebody you want us to
exactly.
follow. But yeah, I mean, again, we named our last retreat last year in Chicago the Brave and Boundless Retreat. All of these women. I mean, Charlotte came, she was 19. And I don't know how her oldest was, but probably close to 70. So we had all these amazing women in different seasons of their life, retired, laid off, taking the next step in their journey, dealing with aging parents. And we watched them name their truth, take up space, soften, be vulnerable, risk, rise, ask for support, and most importantly, let themselves be witnessed. Because again, that can be hard. To be witnessed, you have to be telling your truth. Every single one of them defined bravery in their own way, are still defining it, and many of them are coming back for their heroine's journey in Palm Springs in February.
not heroin journey, but their heroin.
Heroines,
Unstoppable.
possessive,
Yes.
not
Yeah, I
heroin
mean,
journey.
just a couple things about Brave and Boundless. I, man, that was so powerful. They
That
they
was a
all
good
are in
one.
their own way, but this one just, it reminded us so much and taught us like all the things that you and I, like, I think our content was so powerful for them, and I'm really proud of that. And what we were taught right back and reminded us is that bravery is just, it's not a performance,
No.
it's an unfolding. And when women are witnessed and when they are really willing to show vulnerable, because they had to, we were going through some of those like internal saboteurs and all that, and they had to like really kind of get into a lot of tender things, man. And when they're held and supported like that, something opens in them that is so real and lasting. And they walked out like all of them looked a whole foot taller.
No question. No question. Yeah. I think what I loved about that retreat, what I love about all of our retreats, and why I'm excited about the next one, Unstoppable, A Heroine's Journey, I'll talk about a little bit more here in a second, um, is these women show up in a way that I'm so proud of them when they walk in the door, and then they leave with exactly what I wish for them. Their bravery, their strength, their
Mm,
next steps. And I mean, especially for the ones that keep coming back, like they don't go back on their promises to themselves. They keep moving forward. And that's really impressive. Even the ones that like don't make one retreat but come to the next. I mean, at this point,
yeah,
most of our retreat is filled with people that have been to a retreat before.
that's true.
And it's really, really fun to watch that arc of their story, and watch them get closer and closer, and enjoy the journey along the way, right? It's again, it's going back to where I said at the beginning about having this resolution of when I'm this, I'll be better or I'll be happier. They're enjoying every step along the way. And that's really, really, really fun to watch. I love the comments we get back still on the WhatsApp when people are celebrating and all the things. So yeah, our next retreat is Unstoppable, a Heroine's Journey, happening February 27th through March 1st. It's in Palm Springs. And again, it's an invitation to step into this braver self, but not alone. with support, with community, with women who want to continue to grow through this year and not just get through this year.
Mm,
Which I gotta say, there were times in 2025 I was just like, fucking hell, let's just get through this.
yeah. Yeah. I love to describe our retreats as this way, especially this one upcoming. It's a space. Imagine like a space to explore your own story, your power, and your softness and your
Mm.
courage, whatever bravery looks like for you. And we would love to welcome you there and just witness and guide and just be honored with your presence. Just, take you through that journey.
Mm. Yeah, I'm super super excited, and I know we've gone to Chicago twice, and I think we'll be back there again someday. But I love that we're going to different places too, because that
Yes.
that feels like it's like when we do future pacing and we ask somebody to move into another part in the future. That's what it feels like to be in a new area each time. I create these reels from our past retreats, and with each little bit, you know, I see Chicago. I'm like, oh, I remember what that felt like. Oh, I remember what that felt like.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited about Palm Springs. I think it's going to
And
be a very fun location.
right now, with this gray atmospheric river where I am recording this at this point, like I just am future pacing into Palm Springs in that warmth and sun as
So, and I
often
mean,
as I can.
I don't blame you. People on the East Coast, man, they are getting nailed. Chicago, I saw the other day, has had the snowiest beginning to their season since 1978.
Um,
So,
well, back to Miles in Burlington. He has friends from Chicago that are like, this is colder than anything I've ever felt in Chicago. So
wow,
that's
that's
saying a lot.
saying a lot. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Miles. Okay, I'm so excited about this song. I fucking love Brandy Carlisle so much. It really, this holds all of this beautifully, which is the story. I love that she's joining Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl.
Me
Like,
too.
we got everything that's gonna piss Mega off. I just want to call it what it is. And I love Bad Bunny. I mean, that
I love
I am
Bad Bunny.
so psyched
I
for
love
to
them both.
watch that. Oh my God, I love
It's
Brandy
a lineup
Carlisle.
that's going to make me watch a football game. I normally
I,
just tune in for the commercials.
I'm gonna watch Brandy, and then I'm gonna come back for the halftime. Let's just be super clear.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you want to share these amazing lyrics? She's so good.
Yes, the story. So all of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything when you've got no one to tell them to.
Mm,
Mm,
I love it. I love that you and I are always telling each other our stories,
I know.
and
Yeah.
I'm
And that we bring
so
women together to do the same.
a million percent. And again, so grateful. We say it all the time, but so grateful to our listeners for sharing their stories and listening to our stories and allowing us into their ears and
Yes.
or
So,
eyes.
yes, thank you for starting season 4 with us because it means so much.
It really does. And so let 2026 be the year that you stop aiming for better or worse, best, and you just aim for a little bit braver. We've got some great episodes coming up the rest of January, so please come back each week. We will be back next week with something else we know. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.